Chris Phillips, live on air, weekday mornings from 8 a.m. and every Friday night from 8 p.m. All on 2nd City Radio, your award-winning station.
On the show. Good evening, Chris.
How are you? All right.
Well, listen.
I don't know about a tough guy. This is about half an hour past my bedtime.
No, listen. The way we did a bit of a survey, and of course, if anybody was the toughest cop in the bill, it had to be you. You just didn't stand for any nonsense. Back in the early days as D.I. Burnside, making your way through to DCI, you've always had this growly, rough, like just slightly being out the law to get what you needed in that program.
Yeah, well, it was a great part. It was well written. It was very well written. No, the writing was nothing to do with me. And you find the writers create the character, really. You create a bit of it yourself. But it was great. It was great writing. Oh, yeah, it was.
Well, listen, before there's a few things I want to touch base with you about, of course, and you've got some up-and-coming things coming up as well. I want to talk about that. But if I don't do this now, I've been threatened by somebody that if I don't get you to do a shout-out, I won't be able to step outside my front door because they're actually my next-door neighbours. And there's a particular... You've
got next-door neighbours?
I've got... Yeah. They have to put up with me 24/7. I mean, you've only got to put up with me for about 15 minutes.
All right.
Now, I want you to say a big hello, and I've got to get this right because I'll be in severe trouble if I don't do this. Can you say, before we get cracking, hello to Kelly, who's listening to the show, and she's currently next door listening to you on her smart TV.
All right. How you doing, Kelly?
There you go. See? It's done.
I'm there.
I'm
there. I'm done. It's done.
There you are. We've got a live chat room, but this is what I get all the time. So listen, I just want to take you back a little bit. DCI and D.I. Burnside wasn't your first roles, was it, in acting?
No.
So what was you doing before then, Chris?
Oh God Almighty! I was doing everything. I've since the late 1960s. My first part was so long ago. It was my first part on TV was in 1969, I think it was, and it was the very last episode of a show called Emergency Ward 10.
Yes,
which nobody who's nobody who's under the age of 50 will ever remember, but it was drama, obviously, and it was. I did the very last episode, and I was at the rat party, which was my first rat party, which was just extraordinary. Well, and I played a young doctor coming in to this show, which was finished. It was ended. I ended it.
Well, I remember Emergency Ward 10, and I'm only 47, Chris.
Yeah.
So
well, you're good. You must have been a baby.
I've been tuning to everything since my eyelids first opened, Chris.
Yeah.
So of course you came away. You was there for like the killing off of Emergency Ward 10. What did you go on to next after that?
Well, I can't really remember. I remember I did a lot of theatre. I was in the rep in Manchester. I did a lot of stuff up north. I was up there for a couple of years. And then I got into TV. Basically, I did the very third episode of The Sweeney that was ever made.
Oh, yeah.
And I was killed in that. In a pub. And that's extraordinary. That was a kind of a weird show to be in because it was very groundbreaking. It was very tough. It was a very tough show. And nobody'd seen anything like it because it was things like Sedcars and Dixon and Doc Green before that.
But you come across...
Which were quite soft, really. They were quite sort of kind shows.
You come across though in all of your acting as a tough guy. You do come across as a tough guy.
Well, that's the kind of the way you're cast. It's the way I guess it's the way I look and the way I've always looked and the way once you start playing things, everybody's typecasted. I mean, I don't care what actors say. Most actors typecast.
Yeah.
It's true that you do get typecast very quickly. People take the easy option. They go, "Oh, yeah, he's done that. Yeah, that we can use him again. He can do that." And he plays a nice tough guy, and he looks kind of hard and all that. I'm not at all. I mean, I actually trained as an artist, and I'm not at all a tough guy. That doesn't mean come around and try and burgle my house because I'll kill you. But it's just that, you know, I think people get the impression that people are what they're like on screen, and anybody who knows me know that I'm not like that.
Is there any roles that you've had through your career that you've turned down that you wish you would have taken?
There's lots of roles I wish I'd been offered that I wasn't. That's,
can you give me an example of one? Can you give me an example?
I'm not trying to think of anything that I don't know. There's lots of different.
But you're saying things like the Sweeney was groundbreaking. I think when you joined the Bill, that was groundbreaking.
Yeah, the Bill was very groundbreaking itself. I mean, the whole show was groundbreaking. I mean, it was for its time. It was very different. It was all handheld cameras and very documentary type drama, which was kind of unusual at the time. And I think it proved itself by lasting for 25 years, 24 years.
It's well missed. I think you know. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Bill, but I think towards the end, the last couple of years, I don't think it was in the roots of where it was before. I mean, you go back to the days when you were in it and when you returned, which was the most fantastic television I've ever seen, of course, especially Thug on the Tyne, which is one of my favourite two-parters that you did with
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just amazing acting.
I remember being on that Causeway. I can't remember what's the name of the place. It's quite famous. Whitby
Bay. Whitley Bay, that's the one.
And there's a causeway and there's an island on the end, and we did a lot of stuff on there. And I remember how cold it was. It was freezing. And but I tell you what, I loved it up there. The people in Newcastle, I'm glad I've worked in Newcastle. I've worked there since. I worked there in the theatre. I do love Newcastle.
Well,
people are such great people.
Well, I haven't told you, so I might have done. UK Drama are showing. It's actually on the box sets now. They're showing the Bill, the early years, and you're in it with D.S. Gregg, I think, is in that, and Tosh Lines, of course, the fantastic Tosh Lines. Sadly,
Kevin. Yeah, he was such a lovely guy, but the sad demise of Kevin.
Yeah, but you look the same. You look the same. I was watching an episode because I knew you were coming on tonight, so I watched one of these classic episodes that you were in. You look very thin, lots of hair, and you were just bullying people around.
I don't look like that now, mate.
but you were. What I liked about it is you were just bullying people around. You were just kind of, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen, and I don't give a shit. Basically, is where I sit.
Yeah, well, I was only playing the part. I mean, you've got to remember, I'm only an actor. I just play the part. I mean, the scripts are there, and you go with the script. I mean, if you get wonderful writing, which we had, we were very lucky. We had great writers, and that makes it all the difference. Because you can be the greatest actor in the world, because if you've got a crap script, you know it's not going to be good. Writing's the all-important thing. It really is, yeah.
Well, I need to mention, of course, people that don't know. Chris is a fantastic actor, of course, and I rate you completely. And I'll only have people on here, on the station, that I'm fans of, or people I've got a good knowledge of. And you've got some new work coming out, haven't you, Chris, that you told me about a little bit earlier on, a new film?
Yeah, I've been doing a few movies. I mean, obviously with the COVID thing,
yes.
It's been horrible. I mean, everything stopped. I mean, everything came ground to a halt. But it's coming back to life, and hopefully we're all going. Actors are starting to act again. And I did a film 2 weeks ago, which I'm really happy that I've worked again. It's only a few days on a ghost story. Shot it down in Exeter, which was interesting, and it was based on a true story. It's called The Coasts of Borley Rectory.
Yes.
And it was actually a place that actually existed. It was burned to the ground 1939. It's a period piece. And it was the most haunted, supposedly the most haunted place in the world, apparently. Not in Europe or something. And it was great. It was a good, nice thing to do. It was to do a film like that. It was all in period. It was 1935, around that time, which was interesting. There were some good people, great people in the film. Julian Sands, and we had Toya Wilcox. There was Doctor Who, Colin Baker. He was in it, and it was lovely. It was great. It was great fun to do. And that one's been and gone. Okay. And the next one I'm doing something for a company called Shogun Films. A friend of mine, Jonathan Suffolk, who's the producer.
Yes.
He wants me to do one in November, which is another horror film. I seem to be getting into the horror stuff. I don't know how. I haven't read the script because I'm taking it on his say so that it will be good.
It seems as if you're going into a trend. Emergency Ward 10, you killed the series off because you was in the last one.
Yeah,
the Sweeney, then you got shot, and now you're going into vampire movies and horror.
I've been shot several times. I mean, before I went into the bill, I was always playing villains and stuff, and I did all of those series like Minder and Dempsey and Makepeace and thousands of them. I did all the famous ones of the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. I was in them. So I was, I was one of those, what are they called, the equity underworld.
Yes. Yes.
There was a few of us actors who were always in these things, and it was great. And you worked all the time doing these.
So we are going to see plenty more of you as the time goes on.
Hopefully, as long as I keep breathing.
Well, no, you will because you're a legend. I'm kind of out of time for tonight. But Chris, as I always say, you come on the show, of course, and I'm so grateful, of course, because it's a bit weird for me because our radio station is kind of for the people. We're like what Radio 1 used to be back in the early 80s. Lots of audience participation, people involved. But of course, I do sit here and I'm talking to one of my heroes, and because I don't want that to come across a little bit weird or sad but genuinely, Chris, you are one of my favourite actors of all time. Whatever you go into, I believe what you're doing.
Well, that's a very, very kind thing to say, and I tell you what, it's nice to know that people appreciate what you do a bit.
Well, people appreciate what you do because the proof's in the pudding, and I have the proof. Would you again at some point in the future come back on for a longer chat again, and we'll chat more?
Absolutely, always there. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got a bit of a secret to make now. I'm 8 minutes away from breaking up for my holiday. I'm off to Wales tomorrow.
Are you?
Yes.
What was that? Was it either that or get 6 months?
from you, I'll probably get 6 months knowing you, Chris. But listen, thank you so much indeed for being.
I'll tell you what, mate. I love Wales. It's lovely. I've known south of Wales.
I'm going to a place called Barmouth.
Barmouth. Oh, that doesn't sound Welsh. That sounds like somewhere in Devon.
Barmouth. It's by a place called Towyn. If you've heard of Towyn in Wales.
No, I don't. I went to Wales on holiday. I've been to Wales. I've worked there, but I've only been on holiday there once, and I only lasted 3 days because it never stopped bloody raining. And I said, "We're off. We got to go. We got because nobody started singing." So I thought, if they're not going to sing and it's just going to rain, I've got to go home.
Well, I'm going to say something now, which is very weird. But DCI Burnside, you can go to bed now. I mean, me saying that. Come on.
Cheers, mate.
Chris,
cheers, mate.
Listen, I appreciate you staying up and coming on the show. It's been a fantastic night, and you've been part of it. And thank you so much indeed. And I wish you all the very best. And we'll catch up soon.
We will indeed. Send my regards to Sam Kane.
I will.
I know he works on your station.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Good friend of mine.
He's probably listening right now, so you say hello to him yourself.
All right. If you're listening, Sam, hope you and Linda are well. Lots of love to everyone. And thanks a lot, mate.
Chris, God bless you, and I'll give you a bell very soon. God bless you.
Cheers, mate.
Chris Phillips, live on air, weekday mornings from 8 a.m. and every Friday night from 8 p.m. All on 2nd City Radio, your award-winning station.